Hello, everybody. This is Lighthouse Books. I'm Mike Slicker, and this is one of our Rare Book Times. Today, it happens that it's September 11th, which is a day of remembrance. There is another anniversary of sorts going on as well. This is the 80th anniversary of what became known as the Battle of Britain. The Battle of Britain, giving you a little bit of history here for the young folks, on September 1st in 1939, the Germans invaded Poland, which began World War II. They made short shrift of the rest of Europe. And you may have seen the movie Dunkirk. That happened in the late spring of 1940. By that time, the Germans had planned something called Operation Sea Lion, and it was to invade Great Britain. In order to soften that up, so to speak, the Luftwaffe came almost daily from July 10th to the end of October, making this, September 11th, right in the middle of that. And indeed, it was the time when what we call the Blitz was in full swing. The Blitz was bombing London day and night for weeks on end. During all of this time period, the folks that were on the front line, so to speak, were the Royal Air Force. And we had some interesting books come in recently that had to do with the Royal Air Force. These were produced by the Royal Air Force Benevolent Fund. 50 years, and at the 50-year anniversary, that is to say 1990, 1992, is when these couple of volumes were produced. And they're magnificent and very, very interesting, I find them. The first volume is entitled So Few. And you see it's got a wonderful Solander case and full Morocco with an embroidered wings from the World War II period, and of course entitled So Few. And we get it out, and it is a big old tome. We find out that it was done in just 401 copies. These signatures are the signatures of the various people who were involved in its production. The top one, Michael Pierce, is the fella who did the, there were 25 surviving pilots who are, if I can find it, who are featured in this. And there we are. And Michael Pierce provided a silhouette of each one, signed his artwork, and the pilot himself also signed the work. The text is wonderful. The text is done in a sort of period style. Just reading a little bit. This fella, Paddy Barthrope, wrote that the Battle of Britain was a great time to have lived through. A normal day during 1940 usually began with us lying around in our May West at the dispersal point, waiting for some sort of show to start. When the alarm sounded, We scrambled to patrol Mayfield or Tinterenden at Angels 2-5, which meant 25,000 feet. If you survived the action, in the evenings you went off to the Unicorn in Chichester, got drunk, and hopefully found yourself some female company. And it's that sort of rollicking, if you will, sad and at the same time hopeful and brave and courageous sort of prose that goes throughout the book. As I say, there are 25 different pilots that have been featured, each one with a silhouette provided, signed by the artist and by the pilot himself. The companion volume, taken from Churchill's quotation, never has so much, well, I've lost it. Never has so much been owed to so many by so few. And the first volume of this was So Few. This is the volume So Many. And as you see, we have lots of correspondence that the original owner carried on with the publisher as well, making it sort of doubly interesting. This bronze sculpture is on the volume So Many, and this volume is similar to the other, but this has to do with the Bomber Command. The Bomber Command, of course, was important. During the Battle of Britain, as the fighters were staving off the German advance, these people were bombing the ports and the barges and the preparations that the Germans were making for the invasion. Later on, they continued to bomb. They went into Germany. And in fact, Kurt Vonnegut wrote about the devastation in Dresden, the firebombing of Dresden, which many people today condemn. We have to put things in perspective, however, and remember that the Germans for months on end had bombed London indiscriminately, and also that maybe 55,000 of these bomber people lost their lives, and it was an intense period of time, and the bombings probably saved hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of lives over time. In any case, this is similar to the So Few. It also has the artwork in it, the silhouettes of the various pilots. It also is one of 401 copies and is signed by the artist and the editor and all of that sort of thing too. The two of them together bring us back to today, which is, in fact, the 80th anniversary of the Battle of Britain. I hope that y'all will continue to poke in with us, and we will be here each Friday at about 11:30, and we look forward to sharing some of the things that have come into the store with you, and we hope you enjoy it. Thanks much.